What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video I am going to show you how to drop your Obs Chevy the easiest way, step by step. So first and foremost, these are the things you're going to need. For the front, you are going to need drop spindles, drop shocks, and drop springs. And for the rear, you're going to need a flip kit, rear shocks, and depending if you want to level out your truck, raise shackles. And depending how low you want to go, you might also need a C-notch, as well as drop shackles. You only need those if you want to go extremely low to the floor. I'm going to make a new video on the price breakdown and all the parts I use with the links in them, so stay tuned for that video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Help the channel out. Comment something down in the comments. Get the algorithm going, and let's get started. Good luck to everyone that is dropping their OBS. Let's go. Since we're changing the spindle, we're gonna have to remove the caliper, the rotor, as well as this tie rod. We have to remove this bolt up here, bolt down there, and this bolt, and obviously gotta remove this cap and the two bolts holding the caliper. There's no bracket on this, it's literally just a caliper. So let's take this off.
To remove the caliper, you need a 3/4 Allen wrench. I use my car jack handle as a breaker bar because it's super tight. And for the cap, get a flathead screwdriver and a hammer. Behind the cap, there's a cotter pin and a nut. I was able to take the nut off with a hammer and a flathead. Once both of those are off, you can take the rotor off.
Now that we got the rotor out, there's only this big ass bolt. Took it out with the hammer. It does have a pin. Take the pin out. And now we have to remove these bolts. They are a 13. This tie rod is the same size as the lug nut, which is a 3/4. I just forgot to record that. So if you don't have a ball joint remover, you're gonna hammer this out right here. And over here, we gotta take off these pins, as well as over here. After we take these off, the spindle will come off, and then we will be able to get to the springs back there. Bottom one, top one, it's a 27.
The top one is a bit smaller, it's like a 26, but I didn't have one, so I used a 27 and it still worked. I recommend using a breaker bar. I just ended up using my car jack handle. So once the bolts are off, you're gonna have to use a ball joint remover or hammer it out like me.
And now we gotta remove the end links. So if you don't have long sockets, I suggest you go buy some, because there's a bolt holding it at the very bottom and there's one up top, so you either go from the top or the bottom, but you're gonna have to have something to hold the other one or else it'll just spin. It's a 14mm.
Since I did replace these end links not too long ago, the top bolt for me is a 14mm.
I forgot to take the shock off. It's a 13mm. It has two bolts underneath and on top. I'll check. I got it from up here. Mines were replaced, so mine was a 16mm. I believe the stock shocks are smaller than this, but mine was a 16. I got an extension in a 16mm socket, and with the drill, I got it from up here. Now, the shock should just go downwards. Just remove this grommet and make sure you put it the way it's supposed to be when you put the new ones in. I just heard it drop. I should be able to grab it. I'm gonna lift up this control arm and just pop it out. Now to take off the spring, I'm gonna put some pressure on the control arm downwards. Careful, it might jump at you. I'm gonna just step on it and hopefully it comes out by itself. There we go. And put this on the new spring. Don't forget this. Here is the old spring spring. The new spring is slightly shorter than the original. I believe these are lowering since the truck was dropped a bit, but let's go ahead and throw these on. Don't forget the rubber that goes on top of it.
So the end link was in the way for this part, so I just had to take it all off since it made installing the spring easier.
Alright, so it's on, but when you put it on, you guys see that tip? It's like a little slant in the control arm, so make sure the end of the spring is all the way to the little slant. Mine, I should need to push it a tiny bit, so I just twist it. And now we put on the new shock. Alright fellas, time for the shock. These are lowering shocks. This is the original, this is the lowered one. You can see the difference, right? To get the top bolt tightened, I'm gonna put a car jack underneath the control arm, pump it up, and put this rubber on top of it, following with this metal and then the nut. So before I put the top on, I think I'm gonna put on the spindle first, since these are lower shocks and I feel like I'm gonna have an issue putting the spindle on both sides. So I'm gonna throw on the spindle real quick and throw on the end link while I'm at it.
When you align the nut, don't forget to add the cotter pins.
Alright, now we're going to go ahead and put this little bracket back on. Don't forget to put the tie rod back on. I just am not going to be able to film that because of the angle. When installing the rotor, you have to put a whole bunch of grease on this, alright? So get you high temp grease and literally submerge it with the grease, bro. I hate grease on my fingers, so I'm gonna just go like this. I'm not gonna put that much, but I'm gonna just spread it.
As you can see, I'm struggling here because the rotor bearing keeps getting stuck. Turns out these are the wrong spindles. It's weird though, because I was measuring the width of the spindles and they both match, but for some reason the rotor didn't want to go in.
So you guys saw in the last clip, I got the wrong spindle, but I got the new ones now. I did not record that just because I was a little time crunch. So I installed the new spindle, new rotors, and the calipers, also new brake pads. If you don't know how to install rotors or calipers, just go on YouTube. If you don't know how to do it, I wouldn't even recommend trying to drop your own truck. But it's very simple. Just go check out a YouTube video, and that's it for the front. I'm gonna be picking it up from the rear diff. Step 2, you gotta take the wheel off. Now that the wheel is off, we have to take off these things right here. I don't know what this is called, but it has 4 bolts. As you can see them right here. Mine is a 21 socket. I don't know if yours might be different, but mine's a 21. I'm gonna go ahead and remove them. got that off, we're gonna go ahead and remove the bolts holding the leaf spring, which is just one right there, and the shackle right there. It's also a 21. So my impact drill doesn't fit in there, so I'm gonna be using a car jack handle with a wrench or a ratchet just to break it loose. I'm gonna get a ratchet or a wrench, have this getting held so it doesn't spin, and go ahead and remove the whole bolt. It's also a 21. I ran into an issue. Whoever worked on this truck, they put the bolt in backwards. Like it's supposed to come out from this way, but it's coming out this way. So now I have to remove this whole bracket. It has all these bolts in the back holding the bolts. I'm gonna remove the whole bracket, and then I could take off the bolt holding the leaf. Now this is a 21 to hold this bolt. So to save you some time, don't remove the top bolt, just remove this bottom bolt right here. You're gonna struggle to remove the top bolt if your leaf is as high as mine was. If you just remove the bottom bolt, you could just take off the whole leaf and the shackle off at the same time as one piece. We're gonna go ahead and disconnect the shock. This one's 18, this one's a 21. The bottom is a 13 millimeter, but you're also gonna need a wrench because at the very top, there is some bolts. It is also a 13 millimeter. When you guys remove the bolt from the leaf in the back and on the shackle, you guys are gonna lift it. This is how I lifted it. I got this car jack, got some wood, and you guys are probably gonna have it easier on removing that bolt right there. So I had to remove the whole bracket because it's aftermarket, and this bolt was stuck, it wasn't crooked. I'm gonna just drop the spindle. Hopefully I could do it by myself. It's heavy, guys, so be careful. Make sure you are not under the truck while doing this, because it could actually fall on you. You know, if it falls on your chest, cool, but if it falls on your head, that shit's gonna hurt. So be careful while taking this off. Have some help. If you have extra hands, have someone hold it from the back while someone is down here holding it from this side, just so it doesn't fall off, because nothing is holding the leaf anymore. You can literally lift this up and it'll go up. It was this bolt right here that was stuck and crooked. This is the reason my leaf spring was stuck. So it's time to install the flip kit. As you can see, I got everything on the floor here. But I don't know if I played myself or I bought these things twice. But I got these off Amazon. Supposed to be a 2-inch lift. And I got these on eBay. Like, literally the same time I got the flip kit. And it's a 1.5 or a 1-inch raise. But they look identical. So before you get started, I would clean off. I use a wire brush. I just clean this off, as well as a diff, because it was really dirty. This is what you're gonna have to do, all right? You guys see this hole? Make sure this hole is up towards the front of the truck. So do not have it this way. Have it this way. This goes on top of the leaf. And this one, make sure the hole is the same direction. You can see this middle hole right here. It's pointed up towards the front. And this one is gonna go like this. These pointy things pointing downwards. And this hole, this middle hole, is going to align with this on the leaf. So it's gonna be like this. And then obviously these things is what holds everything together. So this is gonna go on top of the diff, like this, in between. One right here and the other one on this side right here. And if you have a aftermarket lowering shackle, this one goes back where the original one was, or if you had an aftermarket one like me, it just goes back here with this pointing downwards like this. I myself don't have a grease gun, so I'm not going to be greasing this up today, but I will be doing it probably off camera. It won't be in this video. So they do come with a little nipple, those things right there. Just throw them on there, grease them up, and you should be good. But if you don't grease them up, honestly, I don't think anything really happens. There's really nothing in there anyways. So I wouldn't worry too much about it, but if you do have a grease gun, just grease it up. I'm just gonna be putting the little nipple in the shackle on both of them. And you're gonna be tightening them down with an 8mm. So enough talking, let's get to work, do this step by step. Hopefully I explained everything very well, because I'm not gonna be recording the other side. I'm only doing one side for YouTube and the other side for TikTok. These shackles did come with brand new hardware, which I'll be using. So you're just gonna drop in the shackle, and sorry that the lighting is so horrible. My lights literally all just died. I'm not gonna tighten it just because it'll be easier for me to put in the leaf. I'm gonna just leave this loose. All right, got the new brackets on. What I'm doing here on this part of the video is I'm gonna put the leaf spring on top of a car jack so I could then put on the U-bolts on the diff and lift up the leaf spring up to the U-bolts and tighten everything up. All right, gonna put these on the diff just like this. One right there, this side, and the other one on this side. Now you get this bracket, make sure this hole is closer to the driver's side and line it up with this little bolts. Like that. I put my bottom piece on the car jack so I could lift it and then line these up, and I'm gonna make it go in the hole. And then put in your spacer and then the nut, and that should grab it. What I did here was I lowered the car jack so I could then move the bracket and the leaf a little further out so I could align the U-bolt to the bracket because it was hitting the car jack. I'm gonna go ahead and tighten them with the 22mm. The original bolts were 21mm, but since these are aftermarket U-bolts, I had to use a 22mm socket to tighten them. Something you want to do is have the truck leveled up in the air. So I have a jack stand on this edge and my car jack on the other one. This will make it so much easier. The leaf spring kept getting stuck on me, and now it is completely free and I can move it. Once you have the leaf hanging from the flip kit, you're gonna start from the rear because the rear has a little bit more of adjustability. As you can see, the shackle, we didn't tighten it and we have room to wiggle it up and down. And yes, my leaf is a little bit tilted. What I'm gonna do is carry it with two arms and my legs for support and move it up towards the shackle. I lowered the car jack from that side a tiny bit so I could get this leaf spring to go a little bit more up. and just have more wiggle room. I didn't tighten that, I left the bolt just in. Now with my legs, I'm gonna have my leg here and my leg on this side, and I'm gonna have my arm here and here, and I'm gonna lift it, try to line up the holes, and put a bolt in. This is literally what I'm doing. See this spring right here? And my thighs are pushing it like tippy-toe. Make sure that little bump is aligned with the bracket as well as the bottom one. As you can see, mine are not. That was because I was adjusting the leaf spring. So now I'm going to be adjusting this, and I will be able to tighten everything up. Your thighs and your tippy toes, bro, your calves are your best friend in this job, bro, if you're doing this alone. So mine are all lined up. Now I could tighten this up. And once I get this tightened up, I could tighten up the leaf spring from the shackle and the bracket. These big bolts, they are a 22 millimeter, just in case I didn't say it already. You want to do these evenly as well, or else the shackle is going to be like tilted and stuff like that. So make sure they're evenly tightened. So do like one by one. And for this side, this is the side where it's closer to the driver's side, to the front of the truck. It's the same thing, 21 millimeter on this nut and 18 millimeter on this bolt. For these bolts that hold the shackle, it's a 21 and a 22. So either get a ratchet or a wrench and tighten it up. So here's the shocks I got. They're Beltec Nitro Drop 2s. Part number is right there, and everything I have, I will make a brand new video on the price breakdown, and I will put all the links of every single thing I got just to make it easier for you guys. I will put the prices, the links, just so you guys don't have to click on the link to see how much it is. If you made it this far to the video, hit that subscribe button. Please help and support the channel. Hopefully I get monetized soon, hit 1,000 subscribers. I'm at like 700 as of right now. When I started, I think I was like at 400. So big thank you to everyone that is subscribed. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment, like, you know, just get the algorithm going so my videos go out to many more people. Comment down below what I could do better, what you guys want to see, what type of content I should be recording, and yeah, let's get back into it. I'm gonna put on this top. For the bottom part, the shock is going to be a little hard to move on to this bracket. You're going to have to push the shock up and push it this way and line up the bolt, as well as lining up this e-brake line. And now get your washer and your nut. And tighten it up. One side is an 18 millimeter and the other one is a 21. And now for the most exciting part and final step, putting on the wheel. Before you put on the wheel, or you could have the wheel on, but before you put the truck down, go back and check every single bolt, make sure it's tight. But yeah, please make sure every bolt is tightened. You don't want this thing to fall apart while you're driving. That's gonna be embarrassing. I did this alone for the first time and I struggled a lot, mentally and physically. So make sure you're on the right state of mind before you start this job. I wasn't able to remove 2 or 3 bolts. That made the job go on for over 3 months, because I was just not mentally there, and I just felt like I wasn't able to do it. Like I just quit, but I got back to it and I did it. Take your time while you do this. Be careful. Make sure the truck doesn't fall on you. Make sure parts don't fall on you. The leaf spring is super heavy. I would really suggest you have a friend or a family member help you out. It'll be a lot easier and a lot quicker.